Hey everyone, welcome back to Gilded Reviews. Today we are taking a look at the early access title CrossCode from developer Radical Fish Games. CrossCode is a single-player, story-driven action RPG that has been in early access for almost 3 years. I was very hesitant with this title at first. It appeared to be another RPG Maker type of game, but I couldn't have been more wrong. From the beautiful environments and fantastic soundtrack to the difficult and always evolving combat, this title remains nostalgic while maintaining the quality of life improvements we have made to the genre over the last 20 years. The characters and environments offer some of the best 16-bit graphics I have ever seen, and the animations are top-notch, creating some extremely smooth gameplay. Even the character art that shows up when they talk is well animated, conveying an emotional connection between characters that really adds to the story. All of this is moot without a decent story to back it up, something to draw you in and keep you connected with the main characters. And at first, I was honestly having a hard time getting into it. The overall story didn't really interest me at all. Again, I was wrong. The character development is fantastic, and everyone has their own unique personality that brings a tremendous amount of life to the game. Not only that, I found myself getting excited about different story arcs, and I couldn't wait to see what was in store next for my guild. Everything just started to come together, and playing through what is currently available is a lot of fun. And that fun stems from the combat and leveling mechanics. The combat is fluid, strategic, and most of all, it requires a surprising amount of skill. You can't just jam on all the buttons and expect to win. The fluidity of the combat comes from the seamless transitions between melee and ranged attacks, as well as your elemental skill sets. You will also unlock new skills through a massive skill tree. This skill tree even expands as you progress through the story, adding a surprisingly diverse set of skills that are not only fun to use, but simple to swap between. Once you unlock a skill, that skill's counterpart for the same button is also unlocked. This allows you to swap between the different skill trees whenever you want. With all of that being said, the combat is not easy. You may have a lot of options, but your opponents do as well. Enemies hit hard and are really tough. You can't damage them until you break them, and every enemy requires you to do something different to get there. This can be frustrating, I am not going to lie. Sometimes you just get overwhelmed, and it is easy to get killed by enemies that are your level or even a little lower. However, if you pay close attention and focus on the enemy's weaknesses, you will usually end up on top. This will become a bigger issue when the game moves to PlayStation later this year. The controller support is there, but it seems to be a little bit easier on a mouse and keyboard, at least for me. The combat and leveling mechanics are not the only thing this title has going for it. Every dungeon is packed full of puzzles. These are not simple puzzles. They use a combination of physics, moving parts, your skills, and timings to make things difficult. These puzzles are great, even reminding me of playing Zelda: A Link to the Past for the first time. Unfortunately, they can really drag on, and while I wouldn't want any of them removed, I did feel like stopping a few times throughout the dungeons. And this really isn't an issue. They let you leave the dungeon and come back if you want. It just might work better if they split the dungeon into 2 separate areas. Maybe one with a new element and one with a new set of gear. Maybe a mission hub for more XP. I don't know anything really. This is just a personal opinion, of course. In fact, the 3rd dungeon is set up very similarly to this. But having more dungeons that are a little shorter could make this game even better. Overall, the combat system combined with the puzzle mechanics make for a great experience. Playing through this title will easily net you a good 20 to 25 hours with the current content. Now, before we get into a pros and cons list, I wanted to talk about the developers really quick and just how they've been handling early access. Simply put, what this team has accomplished is what every early access developer should strive for. They host almost weekly live streams where they converse with the community. They are not just there talking either. They are usually building the game spoiler free. It actually is a lot of fun to watch. Seeing them create maps while talking to the community is a treat I didn't even know I wanted. Let's go ahead and break down the pros and cons of this title. For the pros, we have a great art direction that really brings this world to life. Some surprisingly unique combat and leveling mechanics, a real feeling of progression through the entirety of the game, a puzzle system that rivals the best in the genre, and developers that stay in touch with their community. And for the con side of things, the start of the game was slow for me. The dungeons are a little too big, and the combat can be overwhelming, requiring multiple attempts even on trash mobs. I almost put this game down in the beginning. The story wasn't bad, it just didn't interest me early on. That coupled with frequent deaths made the beginning rough, at least for me. In conclusion, if you are looking for a retro action RPG, look no further. The developers over at Radical Fish Games have created a fantastic title that holds its own against the best in the industry. CrossCode is a very well designed game that is only getting better with every update. I regret not picking it up earlier, and I cannot wait to see what the developers add next. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. What are some of your favorite action RPGs? I had a blast playing through this title, and when it is released, I have no doubt it will make my top 5. Thanks again, guys. If you liked the video, you know what to do. And if you're new here, consider subscribing or checking out some of our other content. It really helps us out.